Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Sports Doyen. We are here after the day four. One of this was one of those days where India could have managed to perhaps. I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't say India could have managed to restrict Australia to a lesser total. But again, uh, one could have hoped. One could have hoped for the target to be a little less. But again, what Shardul and Mohammad Siraj pulled off today was absolutely astounding. Uh,
Yeah,
Eventually, Australia have posted a target of 328. It is worth remembering that the highest total chased at the Brisbane cricket ground at the Gabba, it is around. I think it's around about 230 odd, which happened like almost 70 years ago.
yeah,
So chasing down the total shift, it seems like one of those things which we should be forgetting. But again, well, another thing that keeps hitting our head is this is a whole different Indian team, and there are players in this team who would be like licking their lips, irrelevant of the pitch. They are waiting to come out there and trying to go out for the target. But even if they want to do so, do you think? How do you think they should be approaching tomorrow?
See, we don't know how the weather will behave tomorrow. We don't know what the rain
Yeah,
gods have in store for us. But then, this is one Indian team. You said this is
assuming there's no rain. Assuming there's no rain. Yeah,
you said this is a very different sort of Indian team. You never know with this side. Did we think that they
yeah,
would draw the game in the previous game? No, I did not. I
no,
personally did not think that.
yeah,
Do I think
yeah,
they'll chase down this total tomorrow? They can, and I honestly I'm backing them to do so because they have
yeah,
lifted my hopes really really high after the previous game, after their
yeah.
recent performance. Shardul getting runs, Washington Sundar getting runs. Do you think this can happen every day? No, this cannot. This is a special series. This is a series where this team has shown a lot of character. This is a series where this team has shown a lot of fight. So I think just take it ball by ball tomorrow. And this is a sort of a wicket.
I think Shiv has lost the power in his house.
Yeah,
yeah,
So yeah, that keeps happening. We are in India. That's fine.
yeah,
But again, coming to you, Akshay.
yeah,
कल की बात तो आज रात को कर लेंगे पर just the way Mohammad Siraj bowled at the start of the day today, he was hitting the exact areas. I think one of those things that I have to mention is before in his early days in international cricket,
yeah,
one of the reasons why he was not able to succeed was obviously his white ball is not really his trade. I mean,
yeah,
maybe it will be, but as of now, he hasn't shown great promise there. But with the red ball as well, he has started to bowl the outswinger a lot better as well. With his action, what he gets naturally is the great in swinger. But one thing
yeah,
he's been doing fantastically is the outswinger as well. And that was working brilliantly. He kept, there was one ball coming in, one ball going out. He kept the batsman guessing. He kept, and those there was that one crack exactly in the middle of the track where around about the good length area, which was hitting consistently and was doing a fantastic job. So yeah, Shardul and Siraj, what do you have to say about these two bowlers?
they have been brilliant. मतलब यार एक बोलते हैं ना कि एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है बट वो
हाँ,
एक्सपीरियंस की बात निकालो एबिलिटी की बात
हम्म,
आती है डिसिप्लिन की बात आती है एंड दीज गाइज हैव
yeah,
शोन अस दैट दे हैव हिट द
yeah,
राइट लेंथ दे हैव हिट इट कंसिस्टेंटली वी टॉक अबाउट सीरज उसने वही जगह पे उसने गुड लेंथ पे इतनी बॉल डाली है आई थिंक और इतना डिसिप्लिन आई थिंक इट्स वेरी रेयर टू सी और कितना टेस्ट मैच हुआ है इट्स हिज थर्ड टेस्ट मैच
yeah.
and
second
Senior
India
most
ने वो
bowler.
third test, yeah,
yeah exactly yeah like they said in the commentary or फिर post match में भी in the extra innings they have said about Siraj being the leader of the pack and
yeah,
he has shown it today. He was bowling well consistently. He's got rewarded today. He was bowling the same line, same. He was troubling batsmen from the day one, but why
Yeah,
he didn't get his rewards. But today he got his rewards. I feel Natarajan was unlucky at the start of the day. He was hitting the right lengths, but
yeah,
carry नहीं हुआ ball. But वही उसका थोड़ा confidence उधर ये हो गया. But Shardul and
yeah.
Siraj pulled it really well.
yeah,
Indeed, Pratmesh, before I come to, I'll just read a few comments here and then
Yeah,
I'll,
yeah,
give you a good segue with one of the comments here.
yeah,
Before that, Masoom says no team has chased 250. Yes, Masoom, we've just mentioned that. Highest fourth innings total at the Gabba, Pakistan 415, I think
450.
this is one stat, Masoom, which sort of ignites a little bit of hopes to say that
Yeah,
maybe there is some life in the batting track, or
yeah,
maybe if not the track, there is great life in our team as well. So let's see that. In the last 15 years, teams have bowled out in the fourth innings at the Gabba on 5 occasions. The scores 450, 295, and 179, 177, 370.
that's decent.
There's yeah, that's almost 60% positive ratio. So
Yeah,
that's great. The ball from Mohammad Siraj with Disney Smith left unexpectedly bouncing up. Yes, that's the crack that I was talking about,
man,
which was
that wicket.
there. That was fantastic, and
Yeah,
I think it was great to see. Smith went for the review, didn't he? Like I
yeah,
think there's always that confusion for a batsman when they take the hand off the handle.
Yeah.
उनको हमेशा वो कंफ्यूजन रहता है कि जब बॉल लगा हाथ पे तो बैट था कि नहीं एंड आई थिंक इट वाज अ बॉल that took the hand away from the handle.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
was so
yeah,
beautifully bowled. Again, Matthew Wade has scored 173 runs in 8 innings in the series at an average of 21, his lowest series average since his return in the 2019 Ashes. Yeah, he has been riding. I mean, he hasn't been playing that bad, but he knows how to throw his wicket away. So yeah, Masoom says again that Australia's opening batsman will end this series with an average of 23. That's the lowest since 19, lowest at
88,
home
89.
since 88, 89. That's amazing. Masoom again has to say Natarajan has not bowled no ball, now bowled 8 no balls in this test. The last time an Indian seamer bowled this many was Ishant Sharma in 2016 when he bowled 9. Okay, let's see. The wicket from Shardul Thakur swung 1.4 degrees more than any other ball green faced with the seamer, and it's creditary that that was a wicket
Yeah.
that you know got gotten the wicket.
Yeah,
Considering Siraj in midway
Okay.
through the series, he has been our best bowler in the test. I think I actually have to agree with that. He was
Yeah.
absolutely
yeah,
phenomenal. So before we go
yeah,
further down in the comments, Rohit, I mean Prathamesh, here's the comment that I was talking about. Rohit
yeah,
would be the key if we want to chase 327. There's another couple of names that I want to add there: Pujara
yeah,
and Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pujara, there needs to be one person who needs to hold the fort who better
Yeah.
than Pujara. We definitely need people who can aggress even on the toughest of tracks. Who better than Rohit
yeah,
and Pant in there for that? This is, both of them threw their wicket away in the most silliest manner possible. I
yeah.
think we talked a little less about Pant
Hmm.
because we expect Pant to do
Obviously. Hmm.
Yeah.
we expect Pant to do so, but again, this is that one great shot at redemption. And I know we have said this 4,000, 5,000 times that tomorrow is the most important day, but nothing was truer than. But today, when I say it, I think it'll be a lot more true because it definitely is, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
it's all or nothing for tomorrow. And a fact that we all are still talking about a win also speaks volumes about the kind of team this is.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how do you think the team is going to come out tomorrow?
Man, I feel this is the Guinness Book World Record for the longest question ever. But yeah,
Nah, nah, nah,
um,
nah, nah. You haven't.
but yeah,
I can pick up your questions where you went on for a question for 6 minutes. I can pick up Katie's questions for 7, 8 minutes. You both of all the people have no right to say that. Okay, please answer.
but yeah.
Yeah,
To add to Rohit, Pujara, Rahane, and Pant, I think the cracks in the pitch are equally important if we have to chase 327 because those cracks have been doing some funny stuff today.
yeah,
The wicket of Smith was one of those balls which probably shooted up way more than he expected. The Pat Cummins one, which was an absolute disaster for him. I hope he has done something to his elbow. And also, there were many such occasions where the crack seemed to have a little effect even on day one. So on day five, with Nathan Lyon bowling, probably Labuschagne might also get a hand roll over for a couple of overs, 3 overs, if that comes down to that. So that will be important to see how Indians, whether how they keep their mindset in relation to the cracks, whether they let it affect them, whether they play every ball on their merit, and if the ball hits the crack and you're unlucky, you're just unlucky. So
yeah.
that mentality, that mindset is going to be most important. I feel when you chase 327. Obviously, there is a heavy chance of rain tomorrow, around 60% chances. So, and especially in the third session time, it's around 90 to 100%. So that makes this test match even more interesting because I think Australia for sure will have to go for wickets, and
Yep.
in their chase for wickets, the fields will be slightly open. There will be more catching fielders, so we have run scoring chances too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
then what happens is in case it doesn't rain and in two sessions, even if India are 200 for five, it still is a huge pressure on Australia to still, pick those five wickets because 127 runs is not that huge a margin for five players. Even if Sundar or Panta playing at that time. So I think the mentality is going to be more important than anything else. Obviously, Rohit has his chance for redemption, which we have been talking about since he chipped that ball into the hands of Mitchell Stark. Pant too has his chance of redemption because I feel
Yeah.
he just threw it away, and it's good we don't talk about it. Otherwise I wouldn't want to be Rohit
Yeah.
Sharma right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's going to be the key. And I absolutely loved the way Siraj bowled today. I mean, both Siraj and Shardul bowled brilliantly. I mean, if Shardul had picked up five, there would be headlines about Shardul, and if Siraj has picked up five, now its headlines are Siraj for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
The good thing was, when the players were really walking off and Siraj was leading the team out, Shardul was right behind him and he was very happy and he was clapping his hands in extreme joy. So that camaraderie is good to see in the team. Obviously
Yeah.
Shardul and Siraj are pretty inexperienced in terms of test matches. So Shardul being the more experienced guy, and the story being such that Shardul caught the ball that gave Siraj his fifth wicket. So a little bit of uh, romantic affair
Oh my
there.
God.
It seems like we're
Shiv,
getting live
Shiv is
telecast.
having serious
Yeah,
problems in his place. Yeah.
we are getting live telecast of Shiv's electricity issues. So
Yeah.
wherever you're living, Shiv, I hope the electricity company takes care of it. But
Yeah.
man, I love the Steve Smith wicket, dude. I liked to see him jump around. It reminded me of Shrishant and Jack Callis, that back in South Africa. That was a brilliant wicket then. This is a brilliant wicket now. But 327, I still feel rain might spoil this one.
Again, a little more to add to that, Prathamesh. The rain factor that you've been mentioning today and tomorrow, I think the forecast was pretty much similar. But I hope even the eventual outcome is also pretty much similar with rain not interrupting more than like an hour or something. I think that would
Yeah,
be great because what has been one of the great India Australia series of all time. I think this is really one for the history books, not just for the
yeah,
way Indian cricket played. I think in a whole in a combined sense as well. This was so exhilarating. Both teams giving it all. I think the last thing you want is for the final day of the tour
yeah,
to get washed out. I'd still
Yeah.
want both these teams to fight it out rather than rain gods to chip in
yeah,
and take all the headlines away. But another thing about the players walking off. Uh, while Siraj was walking off, Bumrah was there to greet him and sort of
yeah,
tell him, give him a hug, and that sort of shows how these little moments that show Bumrah is really the leader of that bowling attack, and
yeah,
he gives away maiden caps. I think he did that to Natarajan, he did that to a few players in the team. So he's already
yeah,
quite a senior player in less than 5 years, which is so great to see, and that's testament to his ability as well. So we'll move on to some more comments here.
Yeah.
Atul says we will. India is winning this one. I
He's
hope so,
changed.
Atul.
He's changed his
रोहन
prediction,
रोहन
right?
के पास है फोन वो रोहन के पास है फोन आई थिंक
Oh
आई
God.
थिंक द फोन इज विद रोहन
Yeah, perhaps. Shrikant
या
says absolutely, bro. Siraj followed a proper discipline in bowling, as Bumrah said it earlier. Shardul used all his experience and gave it perfectly. Indeed,
Yeah,
Shrikant could agree more. Rohan Gulati says
शायद
Shardul and Siraj are proven Ranji bowlers, being a part of a few A2s as well, just reaping the benefits for their consistent hard work. I think this is
या
one of the most important things to mention, and thank you, Rohan, for mentioning it.
yeah,
Despite all the criticism all these bowlers have been getting for not doing well in ODIs, limited overs, IPL, and everything, I think somewhere down the line, especially with Siraj, I must say there was deep down a lot of hope that this guy has a lot of ability and he will come back strongly. And the way
या
he did was so good. And
या
again, credit to the management for backing him as well. There were plenty
या
of bowlers who had even I think even better starts than Siraj in
Yeah.
terms of how into their career, but they vanished in the again. It's kudos to the management that they backed him as well. Uh,
Yeah.
there's another comment from Masoom. Most wickets by an Indian in a Test series while making his Test debut in Australia, 13, which is again uh, one of the things that we've been telling today is Siraj has been one of the best bowlers in the series, and I think that's a great stat to add to it.
Yeah.
Mas Masoom with flood of stats, TSD guys career संकट में भाई भाई हमको जब पैसा मिलना चालू होगा ना first person we'd hire is I think Masoom.
Masoom,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Again, there you go. Most catches in a Brisbane Test, 6. Stephen Fleming, Rohit Sharma, 5. Yeah, I think in a series where our fielding has been so crap,
Yeah.
I think it is
Rohit Sharma,
worthwhile
yeah.
mentioning that Rohit Sharma was fantastic with his catching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them were not really as easy as it appears on, especially in those slips. Sometimes it just legit
Yeah.
flies, and he was really good there. I think it'll be a draw considering the weather. I think I hope that doesn't happen, but I can't disagree
Yeah.
there. Have a great session, boys. I'll join you tomorrow. We are waiting for it, Atul. Moment of the day: Rohit Sharma took a class without erasing the guard in front of. Oh god! Let's just move past that. Let's just
Man, I
move past
love
that.
that. I absolutely love
This
it.
entire guard thing is like totally going out of proportions.
I want to know if Rohit did that intentionally or not. I would want to
Yeah,
ask him someday.
I think
yeah,
it was
hopefully. Yeah.
intentional. I think
Yes,
it was intentional.
it would have been
The,
funny.
Shiv, that happened for the briefest of seconds. At best, he was there for 3 seconds. People got that video and they put it out there. It's unbelievable. What a small thing has turned out to be such a huge blooper these days. Only the third time Aussies have been bowled out in both innings at Gabba in the last 33 years. The other instance came against West Indies in 92, 93 and New Zealand
Yeah.
in 2008, 2009.
And
That's
both the
great.
times the bowling lineup for both the teams was fantastic. For West Indies,
Yeah.
92, 93, and New
Yeah.
Zealand in that time. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
credit to us. And also the batting lineup of Australia is not that good anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
credit to them as
I think
well.
it's just a matter of those batsmen not being in the greatest of touch. Despite being,
Yeah.
I think it's a little surprising because a lot of them were playing Shield cricket, so there is not much of an excuse there. But again,
Yeah.
most 5 wicket hauls by fast bowlers since Jan 2018 in Test. India 16, New Zealand 14, and the list goes on.
This tells
There is
us
Manish.
how brilliant has India's bowling been in the last four
Yeah,
or five
indeed.
years.
Precisely, Shivan. Especially, what is more heartwarming is the fact that it's a fast bowling stat, and we are
Yeah.
beating England, who
Yeah.
play most of their matches in
Yeah.
England. We are beating
In
New
England.
Zealand, who have been playing a lot of their Test matches in New Zealand these days. And what's more better than that? Next, we have another comment from Manish. It was great to see how the entire team came across to celebrate Siraj's 5 wicket haul. I think
Yeah.
there is that emotional thing that is in and around Siraj right now. His father passed away. Uh, he has been subject to a lot of abuse and all of this stuff. I think the moment he got that, everyone understood this was a huge moment in
Yeah.
his career, and I
Yeah.
think everyone wanted to be there with him in that moment. That it really was one of the most beautiful moments of this series. I must admit that. Thank you for mentioning that. And Shiv has lost his
Man,
power again.
Shiv,
Yeah.
This is
man,
unbelievable.
this is live telecast of Shiv's area being like electricity bad.
Yeah, that's
Best. Great.
Masoom says best strike rate by fast bowlers in Test cricket since Jan 2018. 45 India. I'm sorry. 45 India, 45.3 South Africa, 50 West Indies, 53.3 Australia, and there is
England,
53.7 England minimum 20 tests. I think Shiv
yeah.
is texting. I think he might not be joining again. He, he says he's absolutely pissed right now. Apparently, they're fixing something in his area. So,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
that's fine, Shiv. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here for at least that briefest of times. We'll have you again. There is Masoom again. Stark bowling
Stark
90 mph bouncers to Natarajan wasn't intimidatory bowling. Shardul bowling 80 to Cummins is more than capable as a batsman gets warned. Ridiculous double standards by Oxen. This is actually a very
Yeah.
good one. Thank you, Masoom. I think it sort of highlights what a I don't want to digress into name calling or something like that. I
No,
want to still maintain a little
it
bit
is
of
worth of,
decency.
yeah, it is
No,
worth
I
name
still don't
calling.
think it. No, let's keep that
Yeah,
for
let's
another day.
not, but
But again,
it's
it's
worth it.
the hypocrisy has really been
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
been
love
showing
Steve
out these
Buckner,
days.
dude. I love Steve Buckner. I wouldn't mind him
I
standing.
imagine, just imagine. Mohammad Siraj 5 for 73 are the second best figures ever recorded by an Indian seamer at the Gabba, behind Madan Lal's 5 for 72. That is like that goes a
Brilliant.
long time ago. So
Man, he
that's
just missed out,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The RCB quota trolls are now shut with Suraj and Sundar shining. Exactly, Varun. I think
Yeah.
that's a good one. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not just RCB quota, Varun. I think it's MI quota. There is
The
CSK quota.
CSK
CSK quota
quota.
was that was there for a longer period of time. Apparently,
Yeah.
Shardul
Yeah.
was one of the CSK quota
Yeah.
players, but look what he's done yesterday.
Yeah.
Ravindra Jadeja was once a CSK quota player. Look what his loss meant to the entire nation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it's my only point. The only point I want to highlight is fans can go as much as they want about it, but when there are, and it is, and I totally don't even blame because Virat Kohli as a captain is seeing these players a little more closely. Maybe he
Yeah.
found a little more metal in them, and maybe that was the case with MS Dhoni. And if Rohit is the captain, I think maybe he would try to give an opportunity to Rahul Chahar as well. I think that will
Yeah.
happen, and it is not entirely. Uh, as
You couldn't say
it's
quota.
not as malice
Yeah.
as people make it sound. I think
Yeah.
people really have to make wrap their heads around it because it is going to happen in more sense. Akshay, is it just me or does Shiv reminds me of your as, as well of our batchmate Harry Rahul? Uh, so Akshay, that's for you. I don't know.
Let's continue. Let's continue with the other comments.
Yeah, Shardul Thakur becomes the first player since Dale Steyn to take
Yeah.
7+ wickets and score a half century.
Wow.
Fantastic, Shardul.
Wow.
Fantastic. That is absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. Brilliant from Shardul.
Amit is back.
This
This is the only
is
third time in 32 years that Australia have been bowled out in both the innings at the Gabba Test. Yes, I think Masum just mentioned that
Masood,
above. Uh,
this is a good competition, right? This is like a second India Australia parallel series that we are going to like.
yeah,
Masum versus Amit.
since 2010, India have played 52 first-class tests, the most by any team. I think that Siraj has played 16, and yeah, I think that's a stat for all the viewers. I think that sort
Yeah.
of indicates where the changes come from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Anurag, I would like to
yeah,
add something.
yeah,
Yesterday, we were not expecting Australia to get out under 300. They were
yeah.
looking good. Matlab, Warner was looking in good touch, and these guys
यार
were
थोड़ा
looking.
ये अक्षय आपको याद है लाइक आपने पहले भी बोला था यार वार्नर से डर लगता है मुझे एंड
हाँ.
yesterday आई लेजिट फेल्ट ये जो 3 इनिंग्स में फ्लॉप हुआ ना वो पूरा गुस्सा
हाँ.
इसमें निकालेगा बिकॉज
Yeah.
इवेंचुअली इट इज
Exactly.
होम आई मीन
Yeah.
होम कंडीशन मुझे वो डर था कहीं ना कहीं आई एम ग्लैड इट डिडंट वर्क आउट दैट वे
Yeah, exactly. Subha, even in the morning, it felt like he could get a big score. He
Yeah.
start मिला है अच्छा तो these guys could have a big score, but वो हुआ नहीं. I think our bowlers did fantastic job, like we've mentioned it start से ही.
या
But वही ना हम रोज रोज नई चीजें देखते हैं ये टीम से अपने टीम इंडिया से. We are not expecting these things from them because of the
Exactly.
inexperience. But they're
Yeah.
providing the quality and जो भी लगता है to compete at the highest level, they're providing us that. We're not expecting
Yeah.
them to do that, but they
They are
surprise
still
us every
providing
day.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fantastic to see.
Yeah, indeed, Akshay. And there are a few more comments after that. I think we'll get into another
Yeah.
discussion. Masum says Bumrah handed cap to Siraj and Saini, where Natarajan got his cap from his coach Bharat Arun. Apologies, I think I
Yeah.
got that wrong there.
Yeah.
So I think from taking cap from Bumrah to receiving that hug today, I think he's come a long way in just 3 test matches, Siraj. So that's great to
Yeah.
see. A great comment from Amit here. Sledge game, Tim Payne. At least my teammates like me. Big head. Uh, okay, nice. Rishabh Pant, Spider. I
And
I want to sing it, but
way
let's not do that. My voice is not in the best
Tim
condition
Payne,
right now.
the way Tim Payne got out today was like
Yeah.
beautiful to watch. And an
Yeah,
Australian
indeed.
captain getting out on a pull shot is the most ironic Australian thing to ever
He
happen.
got bounced out.
Yeah.
Marcus Harris got
Yeah,
bounced out. It is so good to see this
Yeah.
happening to Australian players in Australia, that too but from Indians. That's great to see.
yeah. Marcus Harris
Adam Gilchrist.
anyway small guy, so that's still fine. But to get
No,
Tim Payne out and let them
it's.
just
I think that is one thing. But he was ducking out of
yeah,
for shelter. I think that
Yeah.
doesn't happen often with Indian pacers, doesn't it? Like at least in the past. Now we are more used to that side.
yeah,
Amit says Adam Gilchrist said it's unfair to call that a no ball of Shardul Thakur bowling. It's a test match. Bouncers should be allowed. Even Pat Cummins won't be happy with that call on form. Yeah, I think I totally remember the instance that he's talking about.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what is with the sensitivity from these guys? Where was the sensitivity yesterday? Where was the sensitivity? All
Exactly.
these, I think, have Bruce Oxenford and these people, the other guy, have they been like Paul Wilson? Have they been like the umpires for all the games, or at least the same pair has stood in the third test as well? Where
yeah,
was
yeah,
this sensitivity when Indian bowlers who were like struggling to make contact with the bat? These people were trying to get bounced out, and with which was sort of unnecessary. You could have like bowled
Yeah.
one straight on stump. They would have given you the wicket. Legit. Natarajan was legit playing that way,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
still Stark had to go for the head. He was still going for the head. Where was the sensitivity yesterday, Mister whoever that is? Not that I care. That was so funny, Amit. Yeah, good to see Rishabh Pant. Yeah. Master, another moment of the day. Pant
Yeah.
singing. Yes. Yeah,
Spider
that,
was
that really, I think it cracks everyone up. It
Yeah.
definitely does.
yeah,
And I imagine Australians going, "What the hell is this?"
yeah,
What
man.
perhaps someday we should be showing that video to the Australians. I think that will be more
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
What
Anurag, it would be
perhaps keeps
exciting, right?
Australia batting? Yeah,
Virendra
yeah,
Sharma and Virendra Sharma is an umpire during the India-England series,
yeah,
along with anyone else, any other Indian umpire. That's what we need now. That favorism for us as well. But I don't think we'll need that against England. But anyway,
yeah,
Paul Rifle is the other guy. Yes, Paul
yeah. Paul
Rifle,
Rifle, former
Paul
Australian
Rifle,
cricketer. Yeah,
former Australian cricketer who played in the
fast
90s, if
bowler.
I'm not wrong,
Yeah, was a
and
fast bowler.
fast bowler apparently. So
Yep.
उतनी ही तेजी से ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लिए decisions दे रहा है वो. So yeah,
नहीं नहीं
good.
uh, I have more of a problem with this the other guy Paul Wilson.
Yeah.
So again, let's move on.
There is something
What?
about Paul that keeps up, just wing problems in life, right?
No, please, no, nothing about football, please, nothing, absolutely nothing. Amit Dubey, what perhaps keeps Australia batting is that this Indian team has kept on defying the odds. Yes, Amit, I think uh, that is one of the reasons why, even after that little rain break, they were reluctant to declare. Had they been a little more confident, I think the declaration would have come right away. And
Yeah.
I think they did not. They wouldn't have spent that extra 30 minutes to bat. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's true. Indians have really got under the skin right now.
Yeah.
Masoom, you'll end up with a 5 wicket haul in this test series. Your father's dua is with you, is what head coaches told Siraj when he went for practice bowling, following his dad's passing. Fantastic. I really can't say much there. I think the moment speaks for itself.
Yeah.
First session was easier to bat. Second session se thoda difficult ho gaya. Yes, I think the bounce has been variable. Let's hope for the best tomorrow.
Yeah.
Siraj says 13 wickets. Siraj with 13 wickets is the third most wickets in a series for visiting debutants in Australia. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The last comment before we get into another small discussion. Stark's wife got a little angry on Twitter by commentating on a tweet saying Siraj has more wickets than Stark this series. Okay, I think Varun, you could have just said Alisa Healy. I think she's more
Yeah.
famous than being this Stark's wife.
This
I
is
don't want to play the stupid feminine card here, but again,
Yeah.
yeah, Alisa Healy is she does have a tendency of getting into some unnecessary comment war on Twitter.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
getting back to the normal discussion, boys. We'll just talk a little bit about the Australian batting today. I think it was
Yeah.
clear. If you looked at the run rates, they wanted to bat a lot quicker. Although
Yeah.
I think to a great extent we sabotaged that. I think they
Yeah.
really wanted to bat at somewhere around 4.5, 5 and over, but that wasn't happening. Uh,
Yeah.
Still, I think it was more than decent. 3.5 over 3.5 runs and over Akshay, like in
Yeah,
both the sessions.
yeah.
So, but a word on how Steve Smith played today. I think, yeah, Siraj dropped that catch, perhaps cost like
Yeah,
10 runs maybe at
10
best.
runs. Yeah.
But again, he was really he was good today, wasn't
Yeah,
yeah,
Steve Smith looked good. I mean, he has
he?
been in his rhythm and he looked in his good form, but yeah, we didn't let him score a big one. If it would have been a मतलब बड़ा score होता था, तो he would have done that quicker. He's one of those
yeah,
batsmen that will get runs quicker. And it would have been really difficult. अगर वो लोग 300 या उसके आगे चले जाते तो we wouldn't have any hopes. मतलब अभी तो थोड़ा बहुत बोल सकते हैं because the team that our team is showing character every day. Like they are turning up every day. So
Yeah,
थोड़ा hopes तो है ही. But let's see how we do it tomorrow. मतलब Steve Smith has batted really well for them. मतलब वही carry करता है. Labuschagne obviously इस बार नहीं drop किया. इस बार we didn't give
thank
him
God.
many
Yeah,
chances. Yeah. So
he caught
that
the
was
first one
yeah.
possible.
This is Labuschagne's reality. If you don't give him a chance, for God's
yeah,
sake, next
exactly.
series. I mean, obviously he's a fantastic player. I was just kidding there. He's a fantastic cricketer.
Yeah,
But again, in this series, at least in this series, it could have been a nightmare of a series for the guy had we
Yeah,
taken the chances. But again, we didn't ensure that.
yeah,
Prathamesh, this is what we wanted to talk about the fielding. Not fielding as in a whole, but again, the catching has been better. There was
yeah,
just one drop catch, which was also a major one. Gladly, because they didn't cost us a lot. I
yeah.
think
We are
Siraj
talking a lot
made up
about it.
for it with like a each of a delivery.
yeah,
Not
Yeah,
100% intentional, but still he was considering the fact that he was attempting to hit that crack. You can give him the credit there. Uh,
yeah.
Rohit Sharma's catching has been exemplary. I think everyone who's been in the slip cordon have done a decent, very, very decent job, haven't they?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's the first positive Rohit Sharma comment I've heard from Anurag in this last couple of days. So I'm just going to give that thank you. No, just a little bit of
Yeah,
banter there.
sure.
But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway, I think Rohit's catching has been pretty good. He's I think in spite of however his physique might be, I think he's always been a pretty good slip fielder in that sense. I think him, Rahane, and even Pujara are a very good slip cordon. So
yeah,
even though I think Rahane did drop a catch and Pujara
yeah,
and Pant had a little misjudgment in the first innings, but they're generally very good fielders.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we expected slip cordon catching to be pretty good. Most of it because it's very reactionary. It's something that is very instinctive, and these players are good at being instinctive. With
yeah,
the outfield catching in general, I feel Indian players have like probably दिमाग में ये चल रहा था बचपन में जब हम भी क्रिकेट खेल रहे होते हैं दिमाग में चल रहा होता है जब बॉल हाई रहता है अरे ये पकड़ेंगे नहीं पकड़ेंगे पकड़ेंगे नहीं पकड़ेंगे and then by the time you
yeah,
decide to move your eye somewhere
yeah,
else the ball is here and you're dropping it so
yeah,
maybe that
yeah,
is one of the reasons I don't know man because as professional cricketers I don't think you have that worry in your mind but
yeah,
then the pressure of an international cricket game is a entirely different ball game. So I don't
yeah,
want to use this as an excuse for from the fielders, especially. I think our fielding coach has done a really good job over the last couple of years before the pandemic hit, and I think our fielding was pretty good.
yeah,
Right now, I don't want to pick up on him and say the fielding coaching has not been good, but I genuinely feel that it has been average right now because it's just not one player who's dropping catches, right? The entire team is dropping catches, which means there is something wrong that's going on in the mental side of it, which is again something that needs to be addressed, or else there is something in the training perspective that isn't working out for these guys. So that needs to
yeah,
be taken care of too. So the fielding coach has his job cut out right now. And after this series, especially when India go back to India, and on spinning wickets, we can't afford to drop catches like this, especially where on when the new ball you hardly get any purchase of the pitch anyway. So that's going to be important to address this little issue that we have. But overall, our
yeah,
fielding's been pretty good. I think you said Rohit
yeah,
Sharma's 5 catches has been second highest by visiting slip fielder like
yeah,
Kaba.
yeah,
So that's a good start to have, and I feel he has been pretty active in his catching. The
yeah.
Steve Smith catch at Silly Midon, I feel
Yeah,
the
well, that
catch
was
that he took of
fabulous.
David
Yeah,
Warner. David
Yeah.
Warner's catch was really brilliant. Today's catches were good as well. So that area is pretty cool. And it's just that the outfield fielding is somewhere down the line. I feel there are some drill issues with it. That's what I can make it from the outside, maybe. But yeah, positive signs. Otherwise, I think our ground fielding has improved slightly. I think we were missing a lot of silly mistakes. There was no
Yeah.
partnering up on the boundary ropes as well. And I think that has improved a little bit. So the little things that you slowly start picking up when you play with your teammates once again. It's been a while since these guys have played together in a cricket match. Especially we saw in the ODI and T20 series a lot of outfield mistakes when the ball was on the ground as well. So it
Yeah.
takes time. It's not an easy process, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah, indeed, and we'll take a few more comments
Yeah.
before making our final comments on the day.
Yeah.
Amit says if Rohit throws his wicket tomorrow, I will
I
ride.
will.
You have
Everyone
no
will.
idea, Amit. I think the entire nation is going to gang up.
Pretty sure
Rohit might.
everyone's gonna head to Mumbai airport when Rohit's coming back.
See,
Like
no, 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 no.
traveling.
I think more than anything, how he gets dismissed is going to be crucial. If he
Yeah.
gets dismissed by a good delivery, I really don't mind because
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a fifth day. The kind of ball that's Smith got today. I don't think even Bradman could have played that with great
Man, the
ease.
ball
Even
which Pujara
the
got in
prime
the first
Rahul
innings.
Dravids,
Yeah.
all of these people would have struggled. And as Pratmesh was mentioning, the kind that Pujara got. See, if it's a good delivery, if he's getting distance that way, I really don't think it's something we would be really unhappy about. At
Yeah.
this point in time, Rohit seems to be in that space, in that mental space, and in that technical space where he really can go and smash it out in the Sena countries. And this is the reason why the frustration is creeping out from fans
Yeah.
because we know he has like every time he's walking out the confidence with which he's walking out. You know, if you remember Prathamesh, in one of those earlier sessions at IISM, there was this class when we had Indian cricket history class with Mr.
Yeah, yeah,
Devendra
yeah.
Prabhadesa, and Sir was talking about MS Dhoni walking out in the 2011 World Cup, and he felt like Viv Richards was walking down. And
Yeah.
I see that sort of swagger in Rohit Sharma every time he's batting out,
Yeah.
especially in these tests. It feels like
Yeah.
he's in a different zone. Yeah, I really don't care who the
Yeah.
bowler is. I'm going to go smack them.
Mm.
He is in that zone, and that is
Yeah.
why I think Subhajit really, really made a good
Yeah.
comment yesterday. I think if he wants to be an all-time great, with
He can be.
the floor is ready. The floor is
Yeah.
absolutely ready. It's all down to his temperament. It's all down to that little decision making where he's gone wrong,
Yeah.
horribly wrong in this series. Tomorrow, what a vital day.
And
Yeah,
he still
let's
has
see.
four,
And
5 years
if
of Test cricket left. So it's not like if he plays 5 years of Test cricket,
yeah.
he's definitely scoring
A
around
lot of
four
runs.
thousand runs.
Yeah, I
So
think that'll be
Obvi-
great.
yeah.
Perhaps
Obviously,
more
we'll
than that.
talk
I think.
about
Yeah.
Rohit a
Yeah.
bit more in the evening session, but
yeah,
Yeah.
ये भी पता है कि if he stays and if he scores big, India is going to win. I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
just stating out there.
If Rohit
Yeah.
bats the whole day, I think he's going to score 3/4 of the runs himself. So
True. Masum says, I'm very much in love with Rahane's captaincy, though we didn't see any aggression on his face like Kohli, but his aggression with his tactics he used throughout has been praiseworthy. Absolutely, Masum. You are right. It's like he leaves entire spaces in front of the wicket. The slip cordon is packed.
Yeah.
There are people in proper catching positions. It's like he's like teasing the batsman, mujhe maar, and he does this without saying a word, which is great. I don't want to compare him with Kohli in that sense, but again, that sort of aggression, it really really works. Uh,
yeah,
uh, Another comment: let's least combine career wickets by an Indian bowling attack before claiming all 20 opposition wickets in a test. Uh, okay,
Evan,
okay. I got this. 11 versus Australia at Brisbane. 104 in 1949, and oh my god, I think this 1949 series was right after the first ever India Australia tour.
yeah,
Yeah, again, interesting.
Oh,
man. But
Look at
yeah,
the difference, man. Look at the difference.
Rahane
It's
is a
like
proper.
all these bowlers they picked up 20 wickets in this one match. Before this match, they didn't
13
have even
wickets.
those many. Yeah,
yeah.
imagine.
11 wicket पे
You
यार
were
actually
mentioning
not even
something.
13. Yeah, I was saying that Rahane is that so he has cultural heritage from Ahmednagar, Mumbai, etc. And he has always been that kind of, like you would say he's shy, but he isn't, because from the outside he looks
Yeah,
like he's the simple shy guy कि आता है बेचारा अपना खेलता है चले जाता है. But it's the tactical acumen that he's gathered playing all those Ranji matches before he actually came to the Indian team. He has played a lot of Ranji matches. So from there and
yeah,
then learning with the Indian team, he was dropped at one point and he's come back. He was dropped from the ODI setup, but still continues to fight for his test squad. So I think all that has come into his game. And यार जो विराट कोहली वाला aggression है वो चाहिए, to be honest.
हाँ,
But Rahane
exactly.
doesn't isn't that player. Rahane isn't that player, and nobody should expect him to be that player. But I absolutely like
yeah,
how in the place Virat Kohli is. But there are certain tactical decisions that Ajinkya Rahane has made this series that have really impressed me. And somewhere down the line, it also
yeah,
comes down to his upbringing and the way cricket is played in Mumbai. So
yeah,
the I think Anurag used to see, like, especially in the MI Junior tournament that we had, the amount of pitches that every ground has, it's incredibly crazy. And
yeah,
if you have to come out from all that to play for Mumbai, you have to be ultra aggressive and pretty good at that. So that's probably why he's so good at what he does.
yeah, indeed. Uh, I think there was never a question about Rahane's ability, even
Yeah,
though he wasn't having the best of patches in the last 2 years. I think
yeah,
a lot of people knew he will bounce back strongly, and this has really been one of his most memorable tours. Although he just had 100, but I think
yeah,
overall it's been very very memorable for him. Pranav says Hazelwood cleaned up Siraj for his fifth. Siraj did the opposite. Poetic justice you like to see in a test match. Indeed, Pranav. Thank you so much for actually putting it out there. I
yeah,
think that
Yeah,
slipped out of our minds,
brilliant.
sort of. And
yeah.
yeah, that was a brilliant comment.
Yeah.
Amit again adds summary of the series. Aussies dealing blows to bodies of Indian players, and they're dealing to the Aussies side. Yeah, that's really good one, Amit.
Yeah.
Masum Jain again for the 700th time today. Thank you so much, Masum. I think it's great that you have so much energy after such a. I'm sure he must have woken up very early in the morning as
Yeah.
well. It's
Yeah.
great to see him being so energetic in the comments. Lowest
Mm.
average by David Warner in the home series, 16.75 in India. That look at the second number there, 39.33.
39.3, man.
I mean,
No,
that's two test matches, but again, but that's a big thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Masum again, this is the first home series where Warner did not reach 50. Only away series where Warner didn't reach 50 was in New Zealand 2016, batted only thrice. Interesting. This is the okay. I think we're
Okay.
done with this then,
Double
right?
comment. Yeah.
Hmm. Indian players.
Indian players with
Yeah,
60
Indian
plus runs. Yeah.
guy. Uh, Indian players with 60 plus runs, 7 plus wickets, 2 plus catches in a test match. Shardul Thakur. Okay, very. I think that's just an elite stat. I thought it'll be the second, third, or fifth someone, but and Shardul is in a bracket of his own right now. Labuschagne 25 caught Rohit, bowled Siraj. Smith caught Rahane, bowled Siraj.
First,
Siraj first bowler to dismiss Labuschagne and Smith in the same test innings. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, that's again
that's a
another
stat.
positive to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a stat. Since 2010 in Test, most 50 plus scores versus India: 13 Steve Smith, 13 Joe Root, Alistair Cook 11, 8 for Hashim Amla, 8 for De Villiers, and 8 for Ricky Ponting. Even after 2010, Ricky Ponting had 8 50 plus scores against him. My
Yeah.
God,
Imagine.
that he was past his prime, way past his prime in 2010.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
it speaks of man. Masoom in this Test series, number 7 to number 11 players facing 100 plus deliveries for India: Ashwin, Jadeja, Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur. For Australia, Tim Payne and Pat Cummins. Oh, nice.
Man. Tim Payne. Yeah. Shivam. I think Shivam's answer is going to be there at the night today.
Yeah.
At
Evening
10
session.
p.m.
Yeah.
So,
So
do we chase the target down or save the match? Just joined in. I think see Shivam.
join
I
in
think
again
I'm
at
gonna
10.
give.
10. Join us
Yeah,
at
I
10
think I'm
p.m.
gonna give a
Join
diplomatic
again at 10.
answer at 10 p.m. So please do join in then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kushagra missing on his birthday. Yes,
Yeah.
all of us are very happy birthday to Kushagra. Prathamesh was there yesterday night with him. Uh,
Yeah.
so very happy birthday, KD.
Okay.
I'm sure he's not watching and he's totally crushed and he's in a
I
entirely
hope
different zone
he's
of
not
humor.
watching. Yeah, I hope he's not watching and
Yeah.
actually celebrating with his family
Uh,
rather than watching this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, kya karega? Yeah, it's like the entire Kushagra family is down today. Like, matlab, no one is available in the comments. It's
Yeah.
one of the rare things.
Yeah.
So again, happy birthday, Kushagra. So we wrap it up, boys. Just one final comment from the both of you as to how would you rate the entire, like, if you want to sum up today's play in 2 or 3 words or in 1 or 2 sentences, how would you do that, Pratmesh?
Mohammad Siraj and Shardul Thakur. Those are my two sentences.
Akshay.
Fantastic bowling, fantastic fielding, and overall great team effort. वही बोलूंगा यार.
Yeah.
सही था, बहुत बहुत बढ़िया था, मजा आ गया.
And I absolutely loved seeing
You know,
Nathan Lyon's face when he got out.
Yeah.
Like,
मतलब
ah.
ऐसा डिसअपॉइंटेड था जैसे सेंचुरी मारने वाला था बंदा. मतलब
yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that was I think it's like everyone feels they're entitled to 100 when they're coming out these days. Especially
Yeah,
those
sure.
Australians.
Yeah.
Fine, not
Good.
a problem. But again, one thing that I'd want to say, congratulations to both Mohammad Siraj and Shardul Thakur.
Yeah.
Shardul Thakur for 2 amazing days on the trot.
Yeah.
Fabulous stuff. Washington Sundar did very well to get that one big wicket, which really mattered the
Beautiful
most.
ball.
And I
Yeah.
think
दूसरा भी
even
हो
even
जाता था.
Natarajan,
दूसरा भी हो जाता था स्टीव स्मिथ का. और वही होता था ना,
yeah,
अश्विन का रिप्लेसमेंट हैज मेड स्टीव स्मिथ हिज बनी. अश्विन ने
Yeah.
तो बना ही दिया था पूरे सीरीज में. अश्विन रिप्लेसमेंट
yeah.
हैज मेड स्टीव स्मिथ
Made
हिज
him
बनी.
his money. Yeah.
That would have been quite something.
Yeah.
Totally. That really would have been quite something. But again, coming back, even Natarajan actually bowled well today. He was unlucky to not get a wicket, but
Yeah.
kudos to the guy. So that's all we have, guys. Shivam with the final comment of the day. Great day. Yes, it has been a great day.
Yeah.
This is. I don't know what to say. I know we've said this every single time on this
Tomorrow is
test
the
series.
most
Tomorrow is a
important
very
day of the
important
test.
But again, I think one thing we can collaboratively agree on is today we mean it more than ever before, because tomorrow is the
Yeah.
last day. It's been a fantastic tour. It has been one of the most memorable India tours of Australia. It started on a somber note in the ODI series, then we picked up things in the T20I series. The
Yeah.
first test, there was a 1 hour spell which literally ruined the entire momentum of our series. It could have ruined the entire momentum, but Rahane's 100 at Melbourne ensured it didn't happen that way. And there was a fantastic fight back in Sydney, and now there is a fantastic fight back from youngsters who have like 1/10 of the experience of what our opposition have, and still
Yeah.
we are still in the game. We have 320. I think it's still very much far, very far from the reach, but not
Yeah.
totally far away when there are players like Rohit Sharma and Rishabh Pant. All we can hope for is both these players to come out positively and maybe put a lot of runs individually from themselves and then add to the tally as well. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Akshay and Prathamesh. It was lovely having you. Lovely. I think Shiv, I'm sure he would have added a lot more.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable
Again
guy.
at 10.
But
Again
if you
at
don't have
10.
it, yeah, again at 10. Please do join us at 10 p.m. I think we'll have a much bigger panel at 10 p.m. and hopefully a lot of fun as well. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for tuning in once again to the Sports Join. It has been lovely to have all of you. Thank you, Masum, for the comments, and thank you to everyone. Please do join in at 10 p.m. Until then, see you soon.